Ever wonder if all religions are the same? So the purpose of me starting this channel isn't to act like I know it all and give you guys, a whole bunch of wisdom to all the answers to the questions that we have, but it's more so to throw out questions, make people think about things, like how I've always wanted to think about things and how I've had questions, and if anything, maybe some people can enlighten me and give me answers to some of the questions that I have. We all should come together. Like there's nobody knows everything. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I do wonder about a lot of things, and this is the purpose of my channel, is just putting my thoughts together and throwing it out there. So the topic I wanted to talk about today is, are all religions basically the same? And it's almost like a taboo. We think, oh no, every religion is so different. But did they stem from the same thing? At one point, were they the same thing? Do we all have one goal? If that's what's really important, we all want to get to a beautiful afterlife. We all want to live happily ever after in the spiritual world, And when it comes down to it, we all believe there's a higher being that put us here. So, how much different are they really? Or are we really doing the same thing and we think that we're not? Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. In my journey of seeking truth, I started doing a lot of research and realized that maybe these religions aren't so different after all. See, I was raised up as a Christian, but there were so many questions that I had that certain things just didn't sit right with me, and I started to question it. Like, how can you read the Bible and only take what you want from it? How can you talk about giants but then not question what else out there could there have been? Or were there really giants? Like, does that not blow your mind? So just like different questions in the Bible, like the tree of life and the tree of wisdom. Was it really actually a tree? Was it really like a literal story, or was it symbolic for something? The story of Noah's Ark. All these stories in the Bible that, when you really think about it, if they were literal, they're amazing stories. And then it makes you question, well, if it wasn't literal, if this didn't really happen, what are they trying to actually tell you? And so I started to question a lot of these things, and I started to realize, and then there's also, the stories of the Sumerian texts with the Anunnaki. If those are much older than the Bible, which one should you be understanding? Which one should you be studying? Which one should you be following? If the Bible was originally written in Hebrew and Greek, how can you trust the fact that they interpret it correctly? So, like, I have so many questions that I've come across, and what I started to realize is that a lot of the things that all these different religions they're really not so different after all. And I know that's a huge statement because, especially with Christians, where they believe that there's only one true God, Jesus Christ, and all other religions are damned and they're fake and they're cults and they're wrong, basically. And it leads me to wonder how did all these different religions come about? Like, was it at one point, thousands of years ago, all one religion? How did people worship God before there were all these different books that people read from for a religion? Before these religions were formed? And these are the kind of questions that runs through my mind. So I pulled a couple of things that I found were interesting that actually makes me wonder, maybe in all reality, for the most part, not every little religion here and there, I do some of the major ones. Some of them, are a little iffy. But basically, I come to realize that most religions are very similar. Most stories in different cultures are very similar. Like, for instance, like I was just talking about the giants. Well, in the book of Genesis, they talk about the Nephilim. They talk about giants, how the angels came down from heaven and mated with the women. Does that not make you question things? Like, I don't understand how they can just read it and keep going. Like, okay, that's not important. Let's just talk about something else, And to me, it makes me think about, like, the Greek culture. How, there were gods and demigods and people that rule different parts of the world. Zeus and Ra and Hades and all these different, gods and demigods, that Hercules, that were at one point around. So it's like, well, if you guys both have the same story, just written differently, is it not the same thing? And I want to take it a little bit further when we talk about prayer. Talking about prayer it's basically to have faith, to ask God for something, to believe that if you pray, God will hear you and your answers will be answered. Excuse me. Your prayers will be answered. But does it not go deeper than that? Like, for instance, Christians pray over their food. They pray when they go to eat dinner. Muslims do the same thing. But the difference is Muslims pray because they thank God for the food. They thank the animal for giving their lives so that we can be nourished. And they also, I'm not 100% sure if Muslims believe this, but I know some other religions believe that they don't want the bad energy from the animal's death and the trauma that they experience entering to them. So they're praying over their food so that this doesn't occur. Versus where, Christians might pray over their food, but they're more so just thanking God for their food. Also, when you pray, you're asking for something. You believe you want something to happen. If you need more money in your financial income, you're praying for more money and you believe God will hear your prayers and they will be answered. Is that so different from people that believe that if you have faith and believe in something, you can manifest something? You can make things happen. To have faith is to believe that it's already occurred. Therefore, is it much different from people that meditate and believe that when you meditate and focus on something, you can manifest it into reality? Also, speaking about prayer, Reiki, Japanese culture, they believe you don't only have your 7 chakras, which is more than 7 chakras, first of all, but you have multiple chakras, but you have your main 7 chakras that are in a line of your spine. But you also have chakras in your hand. And in Reiki traditions, they believe that you can heal through the power of your hand, through your chakras. And so when they do Reiki treatments and therapy, they use their hand for healing. Just like our bodies are made. What happens when a little kid hurts themselves? They put their hand on it and they hold it because hands naturally have healing power. Just like Christians, when they pray on for people, they put their hands on their head. Why are they doing that? That made me question. Are you doing the same thing that they're doing? You're getting the same result. So, and also one thing that made me, I can't remember where I got this from. It was a while ago. But the word amen, Christians, they pray, and after they're done praying, they say amen. Amen. It's also, it's a vibration that occurs. Just like in Hinduism and Buddhists, they make a humming vibration with their voice. It helps them meditate. It helps them raise their vibration. So when you're praying and you say amen, are you not trying to accomplish the same thing by raising a vibration in your body? Maybe, maybe I started to question, maybe all these other religions, being that I was raised Christian, like I said earlier, maybe all these religions, they're not so much wrong, but maybe they just understand what they're doing. Like I joke around it and I say how Christians they have a lost religion. They don't really know anymore why they're doing what they're doing. They think they know, but what is the root of it? If you ask a Buddhist, why do you do this, they can tell you. If you ask a Muslim, why do you do this, they can tell you. When you ask most Christians, what is the purpose of doing this? I don't know if they can all answer that, Maybe some can, or maybe they think they can. But I feel like Christians have got to a point where they just put all their abilities in the faith of God, and it's like, when does it come a point where we take action into ourselves and we decide to do things for ourselves? And God's not going to just lay a golden road for you. He never has. He might have, T.D. Jakes says, God made trees, but he doesn't make chairs. Basically, he's saying that he made all this for us. He's not going to give you every little thing so you can live comfortably. You have to get out there and do it on your own. You have to try somewhat. You can't just say, oh, just have faith, everything will happen. So my thing is, I guess with all this that I'm saying is, are all religions really stemming from the same thing? At one time, before there were Bibles and Qurans and different religion texts, was it all one God? Was there all one afterlife? Did we all understand what we were meant here to do? Was it stripped from us so that we wouldn't understand and we would just go with the flow of things? And I think that's my biggest problem. It's not so much that I don't want to believe. I want to believe. I want to understand. My problem is I feel like my mind just won't let me just settle. Like I have to know. I want to know what it is. I want to know the truth. I have quite a million questions in my head, and I feel like some of them get answered, and sometimes with those answers I just find more questions. So that's really what the gist of everything right now is what I wanted to do with this video, is talk about, are all religions doing the same thing? If you bring back hundreds, maybe even thousands of years, did it all start from one story, one God, one text? And throughout the years when we were all divided, just like in the story of Babylon, when they divided all the people so we wouldn't join together, was that the start of different religions? That's a good question.